The ball position with driver wants to be pretty much directly in line with the lead heel, if not ever so slightly more ahead of the foot, in line with the toes, and that's going to help you get that upward motion with the driver, improve that ball striking and see much straighter drives like that one there. What if I was to tell you that I'm completely wrong? What I was to tell you there, that statement, having the ball position really far ahead, is completely wrong. Now we're going to be diving into why this is the case and why this is ruining your golf game at the moment, and how we can fix this immediately to help you hit much better, more consistent drives and much further as well. Now the reason why the ball position shouldn't be too far forward in the stance is simply to do with the swing arc. Now the golf swing works in a massive arc, and I want you to picture this as a huge circle going round my body where the club head is travelling through the backswing and all the way through to the finish position. Works on this big circle. And we have something called the low point, and the low point is the lowest part of this circle, and just as a rough estimate, the low point is pretty much in line with your lead armpit, directly down towards the ground. So for me, being a right-handed player, the left armpit. So for driver, we obviously want to be getting that ever so slight bit of an upward motion. Well, if we're going to be doing this, and we have the ball position placed pretty much just ahead of where my lead armpit is, I'm still going to be hitting up on the golf ball. I'm still going to be hitting those great golf shots. If we place it too far ahead, where the ball position moves too far ahead in the stance, then there's a lot of work we've got to do from this low point here, hitting up on the golf ball. So when we hit too far up on the golf ball, the strike location is going to be more out the bottom of the driver head, and that's going to cause those high spin rates of the driver, causing them to go off target and shorter distances more often. Now another thing this has an effect on is the direction. So I'm just going to place a hula hoop on the ground here, and I'm going to bring a camera angle in nice and close just to show you what this looks like. Now, when we get this hula hoop here, I want you to imagine this as the swing arc just placed onto the ground. Now, when we take this ball and place it in the middle of the stance, imagine that's where the low point is going to be. So this low point here is going to be directly at the golf ball. So therefore, we're not hitting up on the ball, we're not hitting down on the ball, we are simply hitting it at the bottom of our swing arc. For irons, we like that swing arc to be pushed forward as we make our way to hit the golf ball. Now the reason is, when we push this angle further forward, look what it does. It helps us encourage that descending angle of attack into the golf ball. Now for driver, we place the ball position slightly further forward to help us get this upward motion on the golf ball. But when we get this upward motion too much, we're obviously going to be hitting the bottom end of the driver, or even worse, topping it. But if I was to place that onto the ground now and place a camera angle just from the bird's eye view looking at this, look what it does to the swing path. If we place the ball further forward, that's going to cause the swing path to be more out to in relation to where the ball is. And it's also going to encourage on the swing arc the club face to close down. So if the club face closes down too much and has a very similar number in relation to where the path is swinging, it's going to go straight left. If the face is open to that path, it's going to slice massively. So you've got those two inconsistent outcomes there just from having the ball position way too far ahead. Now the ideal ball position is pretty much having it just where I mentioned earlier, just ahead of where the lead shoulder is, of where the lead armpit is. Simply because it's going to allow us to reduce this possibility of having that out to in swing path, and also help us square up the face. In fact, if we wanted to play draw shots and really suffered with those slices, I'd encourage you to try it slightly further back, not necessarily further back in the stance itself, but further back from where we say the ideal position is. So ideally, we want to see the ball ever so slightly on the inside of the heel, if not directly in line with the back end of the heel here. And you can see just from a point where if I was to draw a line from where my lead armpit is directly towards the ground, that driver head and ball are ever so slightly ahead. In fact, the driver is in line with this armpit and the ball is slightly ahead of it. And that's the bang on position we want to be looking out for to help us improve the drives. However, if we're still suffering with this and noticing that path going across the ball and getting that two-way miss, where they go too far left, straight left, or slice to the right, encourage yourself to move ever so slightly further forward. So the ball position will feel to you like it's way more in the middle of the stance. And going back to what we mentioned about that swing circle, the swing arc, that's going to help you develop slightly more of an in to out path, or reduce that out to in path even further, and help you square the face up much better at impact. It's not all about getting that upward motion and trying to launch the ball as high as we possibly can, because the higher we launch it, the more spin we create, and therefore it's difficult to control in those windy conditions. Let's find a stock driver shot that's going to help you hit more fairways time and time again. And just to show you how this looks, I'm just going to hit a couple of shots here. So taking that ball position ever so slightly further back in the stance. So for me, that's pretty much now directly in line with the armpit, or ever so slightly behind the armpit. And that's just going to help me now reduce those path numbers, improve that club face number, and improve the overall shot. Just a quick shout out to GX Golf. They provide high quality golf clubs for a fraction of the price in comparison to the rest on the market. Using my discount code below, Harry10, you can get yourself a great 10% discount off any bundled packages of 3, 6 or 9 golf clubs. I've been using these for the last couple of months, really impressed with the products, going to be using them for the rest of the season. I'd highly recommend you check them out and see what you think for yourself. You can test this out for yourself to see what works best for you, because depending on the way you swing the golf club, whether you're too far on the inside or a little bit on the inside or on the outside, making your way back and down, the ball position will differ and suit different golfers depending on this. So for me, with a slightly in to out path, I figured out that the ball position ever so slightly further back in the stance in relation to where it should be, in line with the left heel, is better for me, simply because it just helps me control the flight. It also helps me control the upward motion, because sometimes I hit too far up on the ball. I have the tendency of leaving that club face a little bit too open, so I usually get that block out to the right, like that shot there. What you are going to find when you test this is that when you place the ball in the middle of the stance, assuming a very much so neutral plane swing, the ball's going to go very straight. And the square club face, of course. But if the ball position's very far back, it's going to encourage you to cut across the ball quite a lot. And depending on where the club face is, it's obviously going to go straight left or curve way too far to the right. And then if you move it further back in the stance, obviously because we're hitting more down to the driver now, it's going to go too low. But you are going to notice a few push out to the right or even draw back, simply because of the way we're swinging on this arc back and forth. So make sure you give this a test from all those different ball positions, even it out to work out which one works best for you. And then from there, you will be able to hit better golf shots down the middle to help you improve your golf scores. Just like that one there. Nice little fade, working back to the target, bang, down the middle. So we've identified what the ball position should be depending on the type of player and type of golf swing you have, but how should it be for the irons? Would highly recommend checking out this video over here for that. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.